All right, Jesse, man. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely.
Again, just trying to get to know my neighbors. Everyone's got a story. But I just start at the beginning. You know, tell me about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Ocala, Florida. I was actually born in a little cottage out in Ocala National Forest. My birth mom was 14. She gave birth to me, my identical twin brother, and I got adopted out and she kept him. And so we got separated at birth, so I still don't know who he is, but regardless, I got adopted to a wonderful family, mom and dad, who could not have children, and they were 38 when they adopted me. So, I'm 36 right now, so, it gives you a kind of timeline of how old my mom is now, so. But, I was raised in Madison, Mississippi, and it was, I guess you could say it's kind of like here in Ballard, North Seattle, pretty much a predominantly white neighborhood, a lot of like middle class, upper middle class to lower wealthy, well-to-do families, just really good school system, really good parks and shit, and really great family. I don't even know how I ended up here, but yeah, just my upbringing is just.
Yeah, so home life was good. And
Yeah.
It was just you? Any siblings within that family?
I have I have an older sister that I say I have an older sister, but she disowned me a few years ago because of my drug usage. But her name's Ashley, and she lives in Scotland. She's going to the University of Scotland right now. Well, University of Andrews, Scotland, wherever they're filming for The Crown. That's where she. Yeah.
And went to high school and did all that stuff. And
High school. Okay, so went to 3 different high schools. Well, middle school I got busted for buying some weed at school, and Mississippi being zero tolerance state, like they freaked out about it and tried and put me in alternative school. My mom and dad were not cool with that. They thought that I needed to go to military school, so I went to Chamberlain Hunt Academy in Port Gibson, and I was there for 2.5 years. I did summer school there too, and I excelled there. Like my grades went from basically D's and F's from school, just not giving a fuck about anything, to actually caring about myself and my physical part of myself and my mental state. And that's what made me be allowed to, thank God, get out of military school and go to this little redneck town called Flora, Mississippi, about 25 minutes north of Madison, out in the country. It's called the school's called Tri-County Academy.
okay.
Flora's the most racist town I've ever been in my life. I don't deal with race issues very well, because I don't care what color you are, dude. At the end of the day, we all bleed red. That's what matters, But like, blacks weren't allowed to come on this side of the railroad tracks. Whites weren't supposed to go on that side unless they were leaving town. And it's just real weird. And
Just segregation.
yeah, and I'm sitting, and this is like in the middle 2000s. It's like 1960s, 1950s. Like still here today in Mississippi. Like, so I knew I wanted to get the hell out of this state. And then I got out of that school because I didn't like it, and I went to this school called New Summit, which was for people who needed more one-on-one direction from the teacher, so smaller classes. And I excelled in that school beyond, because just like military school, I had a smaller class, So from it going from 45 students down to 10, my grades went from C's, B's, all the way to straight A's. I had 4.0 graduating.
Nice.
And I graduated, and I was the captain of the golf team, and I was getting actually recruited to go to the PGA.
So during the high school,
Yeah.
you picked up golf.
No, I played golf all my life.
Oh, gotcha.
Ever since I was 3, my dad put I should have said that. My dad put a golf club in my hand because my dad played golf.
Gotcha.
He gave me a little toddler, about that tall, little 2-iron or whatever, just something plastic for me to hit around. And he noticed at a very young age, I already had a really good golf swing, and I didn't know what I was doing. So my dad immediately knew this guy can play golf.
Yeah.
He has it in his system. So we lived on a golf course. I played golf every day of my life, and I got better and better. And finally graduated high school. I was going to go to the University of Alabama, full ride scholarship, and for some weird reason, with a wild hair up my ass, I decided to go into the military because of you know, the World Trade Center.
Gotcha.
You know, that was 2004.
I mean, that's not the weirdest reason.
But no, but it was me watching a documentary on the Jumping Man.
Oh, right, I've seen that.
The really messed up one where YouTube just recently allowed it to be on. Like, I didn't get to see. I saw this on Pirated. It actually showed him hitting the ground. You weren't allowed to see stuff like that back then. So, you know, like, that really fucked me up, and I really wanted to go and get a piece of the pie, so to speak.
Gotcha.
You know.
So 18,
17,
17, and then
17
enlisted.
Yeah, and I went to basic training at Fort Leavenworth, Kentucky. You know, I was with the 101st Airborne Division. I was a combat medic specialist. Worst job in the world. That's the most absolute worst job, being a medic in the Army. You know, like...
Because why?
When your best friend gets his arm or his leg blown off, or somebody jumps on a IED so that other people get to live, or just a bullet hits the person sitting next to you in the head and the brain explode out all over you, you have to immediately turn around, stop what you're doing, and patch that dude up and make sure he's good to go. You know, like, so that he can at least get back on the Black Hawk and get back to base, possibly to continue to live, but 90% of the time he doesn't. This one situation in 2005, there was a Battle of Fallujah in Iraq. It was an 8.5 month battle for this town of 20,000 insurgents, as I call them. And I call them other things because I had a personal hatred for people who read the Quran at the time because of what they were doing to the men on my right and my left. Nowadays, I'm not like that, but back then, you had to have a fire. Yeah. You know, you had to have fuel for your rage. You know, so that battle, we lost 15,000 personnel, and I was maybe able to save 50 out of just my division. You know, out of my company, we had 350 men. We came back with about less than 100, and I was able to save 50 of the ones that got wounded, just in my personal around me. I got shot one time. I didn't even know I got shot. I got shot actually in my upper left thigh. Didn't even know it until 2 days later. You know, when the adrenaline started going down.
Right, I was gonna say, because you're just up on adrenaline.
Yeah, I was like, when I went out. When I got shot, I had been up for a week and a half straight without no sleep, because you don't sleep with mortars going off all the time and people getting killed left and right, and you're watching little kids come up and try shooting you with an AK-47, and you have to shoot them. You know, like, we have certain rules of war in the United States military, and we cannot shoot upon an individual unless they shoot upon us, and everybody knows that, so they take advantage of it. So women and children are the worst, you know, and I've had to kill 32 children and over 1,000 women, you know, but I'm okay with that because they were trying to kill me and they were trying to kill the guys on my right and my left, and I'd be damned if they're going to do that.
Yeah, I guess before I say that is gnarly.
Yeah, it is.
That is, like, you're not supposed to, the humans are not supposed to see, do, in my opinion, that. Like, that.
We're not supposed to.
It's like, that's war in combat, which I don't understand too much, but it's like I just know like your psyche in your body.
You have to you have to turn your human side off, and you have to become a machine. The United States military, after a soldier does all of his basic training and even goes into special forces, because I went to be a ranger by the end of my 12th year. I was special forces and had a pretty decent rank up. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But after about 5 years, the United States military spends $32 million on you for your training, for everything, everything that you own, your guns, your ammunition, grenades, everything is yours. You own it. You know, like I own, actually right now as a felon, I own my M4. You know, but it's fully capable of being fully automatic. Can anybody get to it? Absolutely not. I'm a believer of the Second Amendment, but I'm not a believer that citizens should ever have a AR-15 style rifle, because I don't like it.
You know what it does.
I know what it does. I've seen what it does.
Right.
And unfortunately, people in this country have seen what it does too, back here at home, unfortunately. So I'm fully for that being taken away, you know. But, you know, like, just saying. You would think that somebody from down south would not be so liberal, you know, about that. But I'm not from down south anymore. I'm from here in Seattle. I don't live there anymore. That's my past, you know. Like, that battle really changed me. When I came home, I didn't come home for 2 years. You're supposed to come home after your first 18 months, your first deployment. I decided to bump it up to 24 months, and I immediately got ranked up for that because they needed me. Apparently, I was a really good medic. Right. You know, apparently I'm really good at what I do. I give a fuck, you know.
And I'm curious about that medic part. Like, you trained to be a medic. Like,
yeah,
they trained you to be a medic.
I spent 16 and a half months in the Army Corps Medic School.
Okay, gotcha.
And that was at Fort Bragg, also known as Fort Liberty now in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I learned how to basically be a surgeon, a field surgeon. I know how to cut you open. I know how to put a PICC line in you, and I know how to deliver medication. I know how to basically take appendages off and cauterize the wound and make it to where it doesn't get, because out there you have a lot of dust, dirt, all different kinds of things, you know, that could really get infections that you could never even think of before. And you know, so they really spent a lot of time making sure that, and I was really into it, you know, because if I was going to do this, I was either doing it 100% or I wasn't doing it at all. That's the way I am.
Jesse, is that something you chose?
I chose that.
Gotcha.
They didn't. When I did my ASVAB, I had the highest score, which is basically 99. Yeah, it's 99 on my ASVAB. That means I could have been anything in the military. They were recruiting me for military intelligence. They were recruiting me to go into the NSA, all this and that, because I had really good grades. Mm-hmm. I decided to be a medic. You know, like.
Well, I mean, it's, it's noble, right? It's like.
You could say. You could say that, but you know.
Seems, from my perspective, it's like.
I appreciate that, but I was just doing my job.
Yeah. And so the first time, like, you get sent out,
I was scared shitless.
Tell me about that.
So I land at oh fuck, I can't remember the name of the base right now because I'm put on the spot.
It's okay.
Sorry.
At a base.
Yeah, I landed at a certain base. Actually, I'm not allowed to say. Actually, thank God. Okay, I'm remembering it now. So it was a forward operating base because CIA ran it. Since the 101st Airborne does a lot of things with Rangers, I immediately went out with the Ranger unit. I was their medic. First time ever in battle, and I'm out with Special Forces guys at 3 o'clock in the morning. We were hitting this house where there was a basically a high value target, and I'm sitting on the edge of a Black Hawk, flying at maybe 100 meters up above the ground at about 120 knots. You know, that's about 160 miles an hour. You know, flying through the desert with these guys who've been doing this for years, maybe even decades.
And you're how old? 18?
And I'm not even 18 yet.
Oh my gosh.
And I am about to shit myself because I'm not knowing what's about to happen. What happens, all hell breaks loose. Literally, our Black Hawk, because of, it wasn't a stealth Black Hawk, they knew we were coming. More than 7,000 rounds got shot at our Black Hawk before we even got anywhere close. Like, I'm like, no, hell no, fuck this. You know, like, I had to go down the line. There's somebody behind me. If I was the last guy, I could have, you know, stayed on and been a bitch. But no, you know, these guys needed me, so I had to go down. So I went down, and immediately, this dude on my right got shot in the head. Immediately. I'd never seen that before. I'd seen it on a movie. Yeah, I'd seen it on Call of Duty. When we trained, we used a VR version of Call of Duty to put us as close as possible into an urban combat zone. But it's not the real thing because you don't respawn.
Right.
You know? That motherfucker died. Wow. You know, and I had to pull him back up on the Black Hawk. His blood got all over me. I still have that uniform.
Wow.
It's in a glass case, you know, and it has his I took his dog tags off and I took his last name and his rank off of him just so that, you know, like, I'm gonna send it back to his family. And they told me whenever I get my shit together, they'd like for me to send it back to them. But for right now, they're cool with it not being in their possession. But, you know, it's just like, I trained with that guy. I've been with him for 19 months.
Yeah, you knew him.
I knew him.
Yeah.
I knew that guy. I watched him bleed. I watched him get beaten up by drill sergeants. I fought for him against drill sergeants, you know. That was my battle buddy, and he got shot right in the forehead. You know, so, like, yeah, when I say all hell broke loose, you know, but it took me about 2 weeks to calm down, and I had to make a decision.
After that incident?
Yeah.
Or that, I don't know what it's called.
I had to make a decision for myself. Do I allow this to take over me, or do I take over it? I allowed it to take me over because there's in the human self. I've done a lot of studying about this on myself because I wanted to know how I was able to do what I did and how I'm able to survive out here. And there's a thing that you have to do. You have to make a decision for yourself. Are you going to be okay with doing what you're going to have to do, regardless of who it hurts, regardless of how it hurts you, what the consequences are? Fuck it. Do you push that fucking button, or are you going to let that fucking button push you? You know? I pushed it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I said, fuck it. You know, like, I'm going to do this, you know? Like, so, really, this is really going to be really fucked up to say, but I almost got off on killing people out there. Because if you don't turn your mind like that, you can't do your job.
Yeah.
Every soldier goes through it, but when you come home, you have that time to come back to reality, come back to humanity, you know.
Which then it really affects you. My
Yeah.
guess is.
Yeah, because you only have 18 hours.
This might be a, I don't know, taboo question, but it's like,
I love
does the
taboo.
military train you to do that?
Yeah,
Just to like turn
yourself off,
and
become a
just-
machine. Absolutely.
So you're doing what you're supposed to do.
The CIA actually, I'm not supposed to really say this, but I'm going to say it because people need to know. There's a lot of things I'm not supposed to say, but I'm going to say it, and I don't care what the consequences are because they need to know. Every soldier that I have ever been in contact with, like, a lot of people, if they see this and they've been a soldier, they're going to say I'm bullshitting or whatever. Say what you want. I don't care. I know what I went through. I went to Langley and got set up to go out to the CIA farm, and they taught us how to basically tolerate torture. Basically, be able to turn our humanity off and become this machine that they spent $32 million on, and in blink of an eye, I can do that even out here.
Yeah. it's still with you because
Absolutely.
You learn how to do that with your mind.
Yeah, and it's dangerous because like
Right.
because out here on the streets, sometimes people don't like homeless people, and they think that they can do whatever they want, and that we're not going because of the law. I'm not constrained by the law. The law is meant to be broken. That's what laws are for. They're meant to be broken. I'm very good at breaking laws. So, you know, like when people want to come out here and test me, I show them exactly what the military taught me to do, and then they're like, "Oh shit, I didn't mean to." I'm just like, "Well, you did this." Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Is there an example of that? When you say people, like other unhoused folks or house folks? Or
I want to say house folks. I call them yuppies.
Okay,
so there's squares. Squares are people that live their daily lives, understand that if they don't go to work, they might lose their job and become homeless just like me. So they're cool with the homeless people, and they're cool with us, you know, like we live together kind of, you know. But there's yuppies. I mean, there's a real technical term for yuppie, but honestly, it's the stuck-up fucks that I can't stand who drive the Teslas or the fucking little like Toyota Priuses that think that they're better than everybody else, that think that their shit don't stink or whatever. But last time I checked, if you're human and you take a shit, that stinks, right? It's just like that Outkast song. Roses really smell like poop, ooh, ooh. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, so, you know, like, yeah, you know, like, people out in front of the Ballard Library 5 years ago, there were 3 18 to 20-year-old kids that tried beating me up and robbing me because I was a vet. I had nodded out from doing a shot of heroin. All my stuff was right there. I wasn't able to clean it up real fast before I nodded out. It happens sometimes. And sorry guys, I try. I really do. I don't leave shit out anymore. But these kids were hitting me with those small Louisville Slugger baseball bats, kicking me with steel-toe boots and stuff, and I went into the rage that I was taught to do, and I put all of them in the hospital. They cannot walk anymore. All 3 of them. One of them was a quadriplegic because it snapped his neck. I'm glad he didn't die, but I was defending myself according to the police and according to the courts. I defended myself, and you know, even though yes, there was drug usage involved, yes, I defended myself because they had weapons, I didn't. But I'm a weapon myself. These are registered weapons. If I get into a fight and I almost kill a person, I can get aggravated attempted murder or aggravated attempted homicide, whatever the criminal charge is. You know, like I can even do that for pimp slapping a hoe. Just kidding. I'm just like slapping a bitch ass dude who wants to try me. You know, like I can really go to prison for that, and I have to remember that too. So after going to jail a couple times at King County's finest hotel, I realized I needed to chill out. So and you can ask anybody out here. My nickname is Mississippi. I'm very well known out here on these streets. Everybody, 90% of the shit that goes on out here I get blamed for, even though I'm never around anymore. But back 5 years ago, I was doing the most. If you were able to get got, I was getting you because you were able to get hustled, and I'm going to hustle you. You needed to learn a lesson, you know? So I'll be that guy, you know?
Let's back up a little bit. So how did you get out of the military? When did that happen? What did that look like?
I got shot. I got shot 7 times.
That one time when you didn't feel it for a couple days?
No, I got shot 7 other times.
Oh, sorry, 7 other times.
I've been shot 8 times and blown up. I don't have a left lung. I don't have a left kidney. I have a scar on my back that goes up both sides of my rib cage and up so that they could take the left lung out. So basically, it looks like the Blood Eagle from Vikings, and the scar's about that thick. I'm not going to show it. Sorry, I'm not going to. It's a personal thing, you know. I'm actually going to be paying like 20 grand out of my inheritance to get scar reduction therapy because it's so big of a situation for me, you know. Like, I want that part to go, you know. So I see it every day, you know. But when I was shot, I was right here on my forehead, right there. There's a little small little spot.
I see it.
Where a bullet hit from a sniper. Right when I was taking a hit from a cigarette, a sniper bullet did that, and then 7 shots went through my back. Well, came in from this angle right here and tore through my body. And I just remember feeling a really hot searing pain right here. I looked down, my blood was starting to form, you know, just like in the movies. And then I couldn't breathe, and then I fell over, and then I woke up 8.5 months later.
It's amazing to me that you remember that. A lot of times when that stuff happens, your mind.
Well, I went through with a therapist, a military therapist,
gotcha.
to try to remember as much as I could that situation, so I could understand, because I didn't know who I was when I woke up.
Right. So 8 months later, you woke up.
8.5 months later.
8.5 months later, you woke up.
My mom was going to pull the plug the next day.
So you're just out.
And my higher power allowed me to wake up.
So when you remember when you woke up? You say you didn't remember who you were.
Yeah, my mom was sitting right there reading a newspaper in the hospital. I had tubes all everywhere, you know, just it was bad. It looked like ICU, since I was in ICU. And I just went like that. That's all I could say. My mom looked up at me and she was like, "Oh my God," because my eyes were open. I didn't know who the fuck she was. That was the hardest thing for her. But the fact that I was alive, she was good with it too. And she forgave me because it's not my fault, you know, like.
And that came back.
Yeah, you know, it took me 24 months to learn how to. Let me back up. Coming out of that coma, I did not know how to talk. I didn't know how to walk. I didn't know how to wipe my own ass. I didn't know. I was basically a baby. For 18 months, a really cute nurse had to wipe my ass every fucking day. And as a 36-year-old man, and this was 8 years ago, so as a 28-year-old man,
Yeah.
that's all I gotta say. That's embarrassing. And all men that watch this, they'll know what I'm talking about. They might even kind of laugh at it, like, fuck that, you know? Yeah, fuck that, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, like,
The reality is.
I'm going to tell you another real thing. And this is going to be kind of very, very blunt, and it's kind of a sexual thing, but it's something that was so amazing that I couldn't believe, like, that I never thought I'd ever feel it again. Men have erections, okay? When you're either a quadriplegic or a paraplegic, you don't feel that, and it doesn't happen. It does not happen anymore because it doesn't fire off anymore. One morning I woke up with that. That was the most important and most amazing fucking thing in my life at that point. The fact that I got a hard on. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I was like,
I mean,
because that meant
shows how.
That meant my body was.
Yeah, that.
I wasn't supposed to walk ever again.
Oh right, so you felt it, but it's also. I mean, that there's so much in there. I'll just touch on a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt too much.
No, you're
like,
good. You're good.
Our sexuality is huge.
Yeah.
And like pleasure within our sexuality, enormous. It's like an incredibly important part of humanity. It's being a human.
90% of your psyche revolves around sex. Yeah. So with that being said, you know, that was the most amazing. I did not ever think that would ever happen. I was actually contemplating suicide soon because I was not going to let somebody continue. I had a girlfriend. She left me because I couldn't get it. You know, like, it is what it is. You know, I still love her. I hope she's doing good. I hope she sees this, and I love you. But anyways, you know, like.
So you had your rehabilitation was years.
Yeah.
Wow.
My full rehabilitation was 3.5 years. I still have a bullet in my spine. That's right next to my spine. Every day I feel it poking against my spinal cord. Even right now, that's why you see me kind of moving around a little bit. I feel it because it's really fucking cold right now. See? And
about last night or this morning it was 20 degrees.
Yeah.
So my guess right now it's probably.
And I didn't sleep last night. I was out in it, trying to get what I need to get. So
let's maybe transition to there. So your current situation, you're unhoused.
I'm not gonna say that because
Okay.
I have a tent. I am housed,
Okay.
but I am not in a house that has a locking door and has security and it has heat. Okay, but I'm very touchy about that, because a home is where you make it. It doesn't have to be a physical thing, as long as you're comfortable and you love the spot that you're in. My spot's pretty plush. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got thick white carpet. I got a 12-man. I bought this with my military money, so I didn't go out and steal it or anything like that. I don't do that, unless it needs to be done. Food. But I have money. I get a $4,000 check a month for my medical, from the military. So I'm able to, when I need to, I go and buy what I need. But I let the money stack up so that when I get better, I can do good. But I have a 12-man tent with a generator. I have power. I have a phone. I have Wi-Fi. I have a government phone too. I have insurance. We have it pretty good out here, but at the same time, we don't. People don't understand, how not good it is. People sit here and look at us, and we're all dressed in really nice clothes and stuff. That's because y'all give it to us. Y'all throw away Helly Hansen jackets that have tags on it. I found a $75,000 Rolex still in the case in a dumpster behind the Nair building about 2 years ago.
I moved to Seattle about 2005, and one of the first things I noticed, I was like, people just leave all kinds of amazing things on the sidewalk, on the corners.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, I want to continue there, but when did you first go from a traditional home to a
Okay,
non-traditional home?
all right. So you want to know how I became homeless? Okay.
Well, I try to put it delicately, as you.
How I got fucked over. Here, let me put it that way, okay? How Jesse gets fucked over. All right, so I was dating this really cool chick named, and I don't mind name bombing her because she's fucking awesome and she's an amazing mother, and she did what she thought was right at the time, which we both have talked about now, and it wasn't right. It was very immature. She still loves me. I still love her. I'd still marry her if I could, but not gonna happen. But I had not ever done heroin before until my last year with her, and I hid it from her because I used to smoke THC dabs, and a friend of mine had a heroin dab, a 1 gram heroin dab for himself right next to my little THC dab, and it literally looks exactly the same. Okay, so he accidentally got mixed up. I hit a 4-foot bong of heroin smoke, and I died immediately. Went to the hospital, got Narcan and all that, and recuperated and came back home, right? I immediately had a full-fledged, straight, like $50, $60, $70, $80 a day habit of heroin, straight immediately.
So you got hooked right from
I had no chance. And it was on all pure accident. That's fate for you. I was supposed to come here. I was supposed to do this. Because there's no way in hell that just happens just coincidentally. I don't believe in that.
How long ago was that?
That was 2016.
A while ago.
And I used to own I co-owned with Monique and her parents 2 Little Caesars franchise stores. One was in Snohomish on Avenue D, and one was in Everett, right there at the Fred Meyer on Highway 99. And so my dad left me some money when he passed away. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to cry right now. But my dad left me some money, and I'm very blessed with that. And I decided to buy in on her family's franchise because I saw potential there, especially with Monique, to make good money, and I wanted to marry this girl, and that's a good job, I could be the financial backer, she could work the actual stores, and why not? So I bought in at $70,000, and out of the 3 years I was with her, made over 500 grand. You know, like, my dad would be proud. But
Sounds like a good investment.
it was, you know, but I fucked it up. She caught me smoking heroin in the bathroom.
So during this time, you were in your addiction.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I was really good at hiding it because I was so ashamed. I'm not ashamed of it anymore. I do it out in public all the time. I want people to know that I do it because I'm not ashamed of it anymore. It's a mental condition. You know, it's a real disorder.
Well,
you know,
you seem like an open person, Jesse. So
I'm an open book, dog. I'm an open book.
So tell me, what does heroin do for you?
That's getting off, dog. It's like coming. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, but I like to mix meth with it because when you have such a high and such a low at the same time, your body and your mind don't know what to do. So it's in this situation where it's like, ah, and that's where I get off on it because chaos is what I love. I love chaos.
Interesting.
You know, like I'm a Taurus Gemini. That should let you know. I'm bullheaded as fuck, and I love chaos. You know.
Well, I cannot help but think about you're in combat.
Yeah.
When you were saying all this stuff, and you kind of.
I get off on adrenaline.
Right. There's this adrenaline.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's
that's
the same
part
as
of.
that thing.
Oh, interesting.
It's the same as that thing. I just don't have to kill people for it.
Is it comforts you?
It makes me feel like I'm in a mummy sleeping bag, and nobody can touch me. Nobody can hurt me. Nobody can enter my little bubble because so many people have hurt me in my past emotionally. When I get high, like I still do today, like I'm going to after this, no lie, I will be back in a little bubble where I will not be so open anymore. You're lucky you caught me right now.
Well, yesterday we talked. You came and we just talked.
Yeah, you know.
But what you're describing to me sounds like safety.
Oh, it's definitely a huge safety net.
And
actually, no, it's a safety bubble. Yeah.
And I go, those are good things.
Okay, now,
So
okay. With that being said,
I'm listening.
If you're an adult, you have the right to do whatever pleases you as long as it doesn't hurt or interfere with another person's life or livelihood.
That's right, totally.
Me as a combat vet, I fought for that right. I have even more of a right than anybody else out here on these streets, and they all agree, you know?
Yeah.
And yet, I'm a criminal. And yet, I'm a horrible person. And yet, blah da da and blah 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 and whatever the fuck you want to call it, whatever you want to say, I don't care. You know, I do what makes me feel good, and I do what makes me feel okay, and makes me feel grounded, makes me feel solid, makes me feel like nobody can hurt me. You know, because I don't trust nobody anymore. After Monique kicked me out on the street, took my car, little truck, let her new boyfriend wear my clothes, and shut down the stores without my consent, which, by the way, she just paid me back in full, and she actually apologized, and we even have a kid together. I'll get to that in a second. I still do what I want. Yeah, I got a kid. No, I don't have parental rights. I gave those up with the condition that when I get my shit together, I get to be a daddy. And Monique's so awesome for allowing that to happen. You know?
That's huge.
Yeah, we both went to the state of Washington Supreme Court to get that okayed. Not just the county, but the actual state court, because she lives in Galveston, Texas now.
Oh, gotcha. And that's where your child's at as well.
Yeah, and her new husband, I like that guy. I respect him, and he's doing a damn good job with my son. And that's very rare. But Monique has good taste in men, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey.
you know, like, hey, I mean, you can judge me on the outside, but I'm one hell of a good person.
Well, I think there's this. I am really. The more I talk to people who cope, I look at it as coping with
Your situation,
illegal substances with their situation. I mean, there's no judgment here. I could care less. But I'm just like, everybody copes with things in different ways.
Yeah.
Drugs is one way.
Yeah.
There's legal and illegal drugs.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of bars down the street. It's like, and
alcohol
so,
is worse than anything else I've ever done. You know.
You know, my curiosity was like, again, that's why I asked me, like, what are you getting out of heroin? And
there's also the chase of the drug.
But there's these good things like safety, comfort, and these things.
But there's the adrenaline part too of the chase of going after it every day. The hunt, the hustle for it. You know, like it's addicting. You know,
that's part of the addiction, right?
Yeah,
I think that cycle.
That's why I haven't gotten out of it yet. I've been offered a tiny home a couple times, and I'm still out here because I know this. I'm good at this, you know, and I'm okay with it. Yeah. Like, because I don't want to join a society of people that hate people like me. I don't want to join them.
I don't think anybody would.
I don't want nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
I would Mad Max it or Book of Eli. You know how, if you ever watch those movies,
I have.
Then you know what I'm talking about. So, you know, like, that's what I would do. You know?
I'm curious too. It's like, you have the income to rent an apartment. Is that true?
Oh, I have the income. I have the income right now to fully buy a house and land, and pay it off completely.
I gotta ask, man. Like, why? What's the philosophy or reason that you're not doing that?
Because there's lessons I need to learn still. Because I didn't learn them growing up. Because I had such parents that I was a violent kid, and if my parents tried disciplining me, I scared them, and so I never really got disciplined, and I really hate that part about myself. Okay. And so you could say I'm punishing myself, but really I'm learning situations out here and learning things that I should learn back then, and I'm not just ready yet. You know, like I'm almost there. I feel it. Like, I definitely see the light. It's definitely huge right there in front of me, but I still have a little bit to go. Yeah. There's things that you just cannot learn in life without going through them. You know, like, wisdom comes from walking through it, man. Like, my dad used to tell me that, you know, a wise man learns from other people's mistakes, a smart man learns from his own, and a fool never learns at all. But I don't believe that. A wise man learns from his own mistakes. A smart man learns from others, you know?
Yeah. Yesterday, when you walked up to me, you said something like, you know, I just learned to not care what other people think.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that.
Yeah.
And I said something like, yeah, I mean, I'm 48, and I thought, man, I didn't learn that until I was like 43 or something.
Yeah.
And it just...
I really don't care what anybody thinks about me anymore, because I love myself, finally.
Yes.
You know, like, dude.
Freedom in that.
I mean, no matter how I look, I don't give a fuck, because I look pretty. I'm sexy. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you if you don't agree. Whatever. I don't care. But, you know, that's snowing right now.
It is snowing.
And I'm freezing my nuts off. Wow. Anyways, so going back to not caring about what people think about me. I used to walk around with my head hung down. I would never realize who was in front of me or what was in front of me. I'd hit things around me with my head because I wasn't looking where I was walking, because I was so depressed and hating on myself. And people around here would always be like, dude, why do you never smile? Why do you never laugh? Why do you always look depressed and like you're so mad all the time? I was like, because I am. Who are you mad at? Myself. Well, then quit. Oh yeah, let me just tell you, I'm just going to quit being mad at myself, you know, just quit, you know, I'm just going to quit. It's not like that. You have to go through stuff. It's a process, you know. And
well, it takes work.
Bro, I'm 36, it's taking me almost 37 years, you know, and I am, let me tell you, me being a Taurus, I'm bullheaded. I don't give a fuck. But if I believe it's right, I'll do it 100%. I know that what I'm doing is right, and nobody can change that in me. I'm doing what I'm doing for my reasons, and fuck what anybody else thinks.
Jesse, a couple more questions. We'll wrap it up. Any hopes and dreams?
I just hope to be a normal person.
Define that.
I want normality. This is not normal. People are not supposed to live this lifestyle, okay? I want to be able to pay bills, pay taxes again. I miss that. I miss heat and air conditioning. I miss driving a car. Even though I drove in some stolen vehicles. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just joking. But, not really. But, you know, like, I miss having a girlfriend. I miss having real friends that I can trust. I have a couple out here that I can say I do fully trust. They have saved my life, literally. so I know that they would do it again, and I would for them. But I want to be able to go to work and have friends from work, like, I don't know, go to a Seahawks game for once, to be able to pay for the tickets, you know? Like, I've never been to an NFL game, and I live close to New Orleans, you know? Who dat, by the way? But, you know, like, I'm a Seahawks fan, though, just saying. But, you know, I just want to do normal shit, dude. I'm tired of being looked at weird by people, man. Like, people cross the road while I'm walking down the sidewalk during the day, and people are like, oh, a homeless guy, oh, let's go over here. And, like, they like, act like I'm some kind of, like, deranged fucking leprosy animal or something. I'm just like, all right, you treat me like that, you're going to get that. You know?
It's called dehumanization.
Yeah, yeah. Except I don't like to put a word with it. I just like to, because it's something I don't agree with, and it's something I don't live by. And I don't care if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're a pronoun, if you're not a pronoun. I don't give a fuck what you are. As long as you don't interfere with my livelihood and my life negatively, then I can coexist with you. And I believe that every single person should believe that, you know, because who are you to judge me? When you point a finger, you got 3 pointing back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you kind of answered this question, my second question already, but is there anything that you'd want to say to the people of Seattle?
Why'd you have to ask that? There's a lot I want to say. There's a lot I want to yell. But I really just want to ask them, please stop. There's people out here killing themselves because of you. My best friend killed himself yesterday. You know, I don't show that. I'm showing it now. But y'all made him do it. Because y'all hate him, you know, because of him and his situation. He's not here anymore. Because of you. But just please stop. Just coexist. Please stop. That's all I ask, you know. That's all I got to say about that, you know. But, you know, it's just an emotional thing, you know, like,
Of course.
you know.
Just very
Ryan was a good person, man. And he's been with me here for 8 years on the streets, and he overdosed on it on purpose. And I wasn't there to stop him. And I have Narcan on me. I have so much Narcan in my backpack. My backpack, half the weight is Narcan itself. Nobody had Narcan yesterday. And I have enough to supply 50 people right now. You know?
Yeah, damn. Sorry, man.
Yeah, you know? So, like, I didn't know I was even going to talk. I was trying not to talk about that, you know? But that's why when you asked that question, I was like, I really wish you hadn't asked that. But, but it needed to be asked. It needed to be said, you know?
I appreciate your honesty and vulnerability, man. It's like,
Yeah.
emotions are human. And you're human. You know, I know there's parts of you that you've done to turn off, but it's like there's stuff that just comes up.
I just don't know how to deal with emotion, Mo, because when it does come up, it's so much.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm learning out here, is how to deal with my emotions as they come. I believe that's the last step that I need to, because I used to be a roid rage like individual when I got mad when I was younger. I used to punch holes in walls and stuff like that, and I need to learn how to deal with the emotions as they come so that I can be the man that I'm supposed to be, you know?
Well, I mean, you've gone through major trauma in your time in the military.
I still am
going through major trauma, and it's just like survival mode, man. And I just am like, you know, there's this term called complex trauma where it's like not just one traumatic event, but tons and tons and tons.
22, in fact, actually. Yeah. That's how many I'm going through right now.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, tremendous. Your friend passing away. I mean, it's a lot. And it doesn't surprise me that people cope with drugs. I'd be doing the same thing. And that's what I mean, lots of people would be doing that. And if that's a little piece of comfort you get within all that trauma.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm going to do right after this, because I just don't want to think about it right now. So I have to call his mom today. So, you know, like, I just want to get high before I have to call her, so I don't have to
to feel that.
Yeah, you know, like, sorry people, but you know, like, I do what I do, you do what you do. You know, judge me if you want, whatever.
Those are big. Yeah, it's a lot, man.
Yeah,
Jesse, thanks for sharing part of your story, man.
Absolutely, anytime, man. Actually, if I'm still out here a couple years later, please come by and say what's up.
Yeah, I will. I plan to follow up on people.
Oh, cool.
So,
fuck, I hope I'm in a position where I'm actually like doing good, and you see me just like at a game or something. Like, that'd be awesome, you know.
Wherever
like,
you're at, wherever you're at, man.
Cool.
See
yeah,
you, man. Hey, you
Thank
open
you.
for a hug, man? Hang in there, man. Hang in there. Thanks for sharing. Being open, vulnerable. I mean, fuck, that's hard stuff to talk about.